think it's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity.
This is like our home away from home.
Good.
It's awful.
It's funny because we saw Stephanie Block at the stage door last night, and she said she's doing Christmas concerts. And she said to Marybeth and I, she goes, yeah, she's like, I'm doing Oh Holy Night, the first Noel, and Defying Gravity. She's like, Defying Gravity is in every single, no, she's like, Defying Gravity is in every single song, and she doesn't matter. I'm in Omaha doing like all these Christmas songs.
It doesn't matter where she goes, everything has to involve Defying Gravity. You know, it's like, okay, if you're coming here, you got to sing Defying Gravity. It's ridiculous.
But I think that any of the girls who played Alphaba have that as a
It doesn't matter, it's once you have,
Julia Murney, you know, who was Alphaba, and it's their claim to fame.
Yeah, well, that's like Shoshana, one of them's doing a concert, and it's like, you know, former, it always leads off with Alphaba. I think once you have that Alphaba credit, it's like you're sort of known as...
Well, that's the whole, yeah, I mean, that's... It's like any, you know, it used to be like with Phantom, like anybody who was Christine, anybody who was the Phantom, you know, the longer it runs, the more valuable that becomes, I think, I don't know. Anyway. So, did anybody hear from anybody?
I have not.
No. Alright, it's noon. We still have
who was out last night?
We had Robin out, Anthony was out. He'll be back today. I think she's probably going to be out this afternoon.
Did Robin need injury reports?
No, because she didn't know. She dropped a box of, did I tell you this?
No.
She dropped a box of flooring tile on her foot. And it landed on her big toe, but like not on the top of the toe, like right where the joint is, and she can't get a shoe on her foot. She can walk, but she can't get a shoe on, so she can't. So that's why she's trying to get an appointment today with an orthopedist and a PT to see if she can at least, you know, is she going to damage it or make it worse? This is what we talk about constantly, Eddie. You know, like our conversations never revolve around like, you know, oh, how's your life? What's going on? It's all about whose foot's injured, who has vocal problems, who do we need to call? Do we have a show today? So that's what that's our morning, our pre-show ritual is always like, has anybody heard from anybody? Well, Tony's going to come to the matinee, and he's got an appointment at 4, which we're releasing him to go see this doctor. So, you know, we'll keep him off stage if we can, and if we can't, then we'll just pull him after Thank Goodness or whatever and let him go to the doctor. We had a situation one time where we had an Alphaba who at the top of the show, as soon as we called places, vomited. And so we were like, oh my God, you know, are you gonna, and she, you know, of course, then the dresser and the hairdresser come running out on stage until they find a stage manager. I think it was you, wasn't it?
It was you they came to because you're like...
Maybe it was that. But anyway, so it was a situation where they ran and called the stage manager, so then I ran down to her room, and she said, oh no, I think I'll be okay, because, you know, she was able to, she like felt better after throwing up. So we was okay, so we start the show. So we start the show, and then what happens is, like, every few minutes, like, we're getting word from like an actor will come up and go, I don't know, she doesn't look good, or you know, she said that she's not feeling well, and this sort of thing. So like we have stage managers in the wings like looking like, you know, are you in, are you out, what's going on? And then she would walk off stage and she'd go, no, I think I'll be okay. And this went on for several numbers.
Scenes, yeah.
And in the meantime, we had said to the standby, you need to get ready. And so the standby is backstage, you know, painting their nails green, getting their makeup on, getting their hair prepped, and doing everything they can to get ready. And sometimes that can be fruitless. Sometimes they just won't go on. This particular time, she came off stage and she was like, that's it, I'm not going to be able to do it. And we were ready with the other Alphaba right in time. So, and from what I understand from before I took over at the show, that's exactly what the goal is. And that's what, I don't think anyone's ever had to stop a show to replace the Alphaba. The idea is that as soon as you get an inkling that Alphaba is not going to be well, you start to get the standby ready, which is what the reason behind the standby is. So anyway, we flipped her right in as Alphaba came off out of one scene, and she appeared into the next scene, like into that second classroom we call it, where she's been Galindified. So she ran off out of Popular. The one girl ran off out of Popular, and as she walked into the next scene, it was a different Alphaba.
It's totally creepy to see two Alphabas backstage though, because you get that moment where like you'll turn around and there are two girls in the exact same, and they look the same in the green. So it's like you're like,
it's
whoa,
freaky,
it's a moment that's kind of freaky.
Well, and we also wonder like all the time, like, you know, how many people in the audience really realize that it's changed. Because like I've had people in the audience and we'll go, oh, did you catch the switch? And they were like, what switch? So it's pretty amazing what that makeup does.
The witch switch, isn't it?
It's the bewitched switch, because the first time we did it, whoever was conducting sort of picked up phone was like, that was smoother than switching Darren's in Bewitched or whatever.
Oh yeah, Bewitched.
So we now call it the bewitched switch.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So there are those kinds of things, and and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you will, the ensemble members who are just as vital to the production, but don't get as much accolade and this sort of thing. We've had them go down mid-production, and there again we have swings, and we have an interesting thing in this show that I've never experienced before is what they call an on-stage swing. So we have a man and a woman who are on stage for 4 or 5 scenes during the show, and they are able to immediately move over into someone's track if somebody goes out mid-show. And then we take the swing, and the swing will then go fill in for the on-stage swing, so that it's not a crisis. We can smoothly move, we don't miss a step.
Because they're already mic'd and they're already mic'd
They're mic'd, they're in the wig, and they're in costume. So that's sort of what our goal is, that the audience really never knows that that's happening. You know what I mean? That really, literally, you can send another character, you can send somebody on, and they can be doing their makeup in the next scene. You know what I mean? As long as they can throw a wig and a costume.
Well, and the other thing too that we talked about is that Pilferty's costume design, it's great and it's incredible, but in this show, costumes are so specific that you just can't put anybody on stage anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes, that's a really good
major,
point.
A major thing with just this show that a lot of Broadway shows don't have is that you just can't throw them out there anything.
Yeah.
It's so specific that you can't have, no two costumes are the same.
Okay, so you were able to get an appointment. So you're, okay, all right. So you'll stay after the matinee?
We're coming right.
Well, just call me after the matinee before you make the decision for tonight, because they may be able to wrap it or do something. Okay. All right, honey, well, take it easy, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, good luck. Bye. Okay, there's a perfect example of what we were just talking about. That was our onstage swing, who I had mentioned earlier had dropped a box of tile on her foot last night, or 2 nights ago, and she's out today. And she's going to go to a doctor, and then we'll know tonight whether she's in or not. But now she's out, so what that means is we're going to take the swing and put the swing on as the onstage swing at today's matinee. And now we're going to head over to the office, and we're going to see if anybody else was called out sick. Hopefully everyone will be well. Come along. Okay, so here we are. We've had our coffee, we've had our breakfast, and we're ready to have the day go well. Did you hear this, people? There were people sitting in there who were eating. They overheard that we were the stage managers, heard our whole conversation, and it's their first time. Their whole family, 2 little girls and a little boy, the whole family's going to see Wicked today. So they're all jazzed that they just met us all.
It's, like the train rides home at night too. It's you see the programs and the posters. She hates this. That's the one thing she hates. I'm like, we work at Wicked, and I'll yell. And
I always want to be real incognito. I don't want anyone to know what I do.
I'm like, oh, did you see Wicked?
We went, hey, what'd you see tonight? He's looking at people's programs. And I'm like, okay, could you just stop? Crazy. Oh my God, isn't that the guy in ragtime?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
Okay. Oh my God, hey, we have to say hey to you. We love your BroadwayWorld. We're from Wicked. They're doing the thing about it. You were great in the show.
Hey, so
great to meet you. Listen to me. I fell in love with you the other night. You are gorgeous and gorgeous performer.
Thank you so
beautiful,
much.
beautiful.
It's a blessing.
You can tell that you feel that way, and I love that.
Welcome to the neighborhood. May you guys run long over there.
First time in New York.
Seriously,
Oh,
Broadway
First time,
debut?
oh yeah.
Oh, God,
Broadway debut.
Good for
First time
you.
living in New York. I'm actually trying to move into this building.
Oh, then all you do is roll out of bed.
Roll out of bed and walk to work.
There
I got
we
my
go.
Starbucks on the
There
corner.
you go.
Everything is here. So
Have
it's
a great
perfect.
day today, and
Thank you so
honestly,
much.
thank you. It's a pleasure. I fell in love with that guy. When I saw
Broadway
him, I was like,
debut. I didn't even think about that. Good for him. God bless.
look, I'm addicted to this, and I can't stand it actually. In the old days, because I've been doing this for 95 years. You would go into the theater, there'd be an answering machine. My first professional shows, I got my start at Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera.
Right.
Then I got to New York, and I ended up getting Cats, the first national. And I was on the road with Cats, the original first national. So this was the Broadway just opened, and we went and we did first national. Traveled with that for 3 years, and then landed Les Mis. And I was with Les Mis for 13 years, and was fortunate enough to supervise as well as stage manage. which you know because we did the Hollywood Bowl. And then from there, I've done like a number of shows, like Sweet Charity, Lacage, I mean, all these other things. And then it was, again, lucky enough to be called and offered this one, and really thought about it a while because I was like, do I want to really do another long run? And then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and I'll tell you, it's been one of the best experiences I've ever had. The message is incredible.
It really is.
But you know, on top of that, you know, there's also a whole new dynamic and a whole other thing that's happening backstage.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, I've never experienced, and I've been here now almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in March. Such a nice group of people. I mean, but genuinely nice. Like, we don't have any of that. There's no animosity. There's no jealousy. There's,
in the long run, sometimes that
happens, you know, because the other thing that happens
sometimes.
is that, well, of course, also the other thing that happens is people get in these shows and then they're afraid to leave because the money's so good, but then they're bitter because they can't get another job, blah, blah, and it creates all of this stuff. And if that's happening over here, you're not even aware of it because everybody they're grateful to have the job, they like the job, and they do their job so well. So we're really lucky that way. I mean, I just feel like it's incredible, like the dynamics back here. I love coming to work. Come staff.
It's a 2-show day here. Go on,
Here comes the team. We're all going to work. See you later, Eddie. Bye.
So this is what you do. This is what, of course, the sign.
The sign-in sheet and the call board. And you know what? It's so funny because they just redid this elevator back here, and it took them 6 weeks to fix it, so we weren't able to use this. And so everybody was using the stairs, and I swear, I don't think I looked at the call board for like 6 weeks because I would just come in and go. So, but everybody else has because they've signed in and they've done everything
Dominic.
they're supposed to. This is our conductor. Woo!
Hello.
Hi, Dom.
How are you?
You know, you don't have rehearsal today. We canceled it.
I know.
So why are you here so early?
I'm gonna do some work in the Cheetah Lounge. The famous Cheetah
Well,
Lounge.
good luck. Jeff's one of our electricians. Now, this is another thing that you need to Come on back in, Jeff. Say hey.
So we're going to do the bed at 1:40 because they worked on the work call. And they changed the mechanism a little bit. It may be a little.
Oh, good. They were supposed. Good. All right.
So let the guys.
So we'll call
Ron and Kevin.
Kevin.
It'll just take 5 minutes, but we should do it at 1:40 after the carps do the preset.
That's good. That's terrific. And we know that. Make sure that we. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Hello, Wicked. Well, what's the problem? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I hope you feel better, and give me a call I'll call you like around 5 to see how you're doing, and if you need, look, what I'm worried about is don't dehydrate, because if you've been vomiting, you can dehydrate, so just, you know, let me know later in the afternoon how you're doing. Oh, that's terrible. All right. Well, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll check in with you, you know, and just, if you need to see a doctor, give me a call and we'll call somebody. Okay.
Hi, I'm sorry. It's Bob for you.
Bob?
Yeah. Who you on with this? Who is this? Hello?
Wait, hold
Alice?
on. Tell Alice the lineup.
Where'd you leave
Hey,
off?
Bob, how are you doing?
I think Brian for Brian.
No way.
Brian Munn for Wayne.
All right,
Lindsay Janice is on for Robin Wilner.
Hold on just a sec. I need the December one, please.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All
then
right,
no cast collecting for Broadway Cares today. Correct.
okay, well, no, that should work.
Okay,
I have
thanks,
no,
Alice.
I did. I
Bye.
scheduled no vacations
And
that
the
week because you
bed
mentioned
downstage is
this.
under deck 20 complete, right?
We have no men
so. I
out
think
on
that's
that.
right.
We have no men on that.
Did she call hair?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. Well, ideally, if we could bring them in like
Yeah,
on Friday
20
before,
complete.
Hi, it's Jason.
like on the 11th, because
I
then
have
we
a
can do
lineup
a
for
winter
you.
rehearsal.
Sam Zach is on for Gorski.
Alrighty.
Karoga's on for DeVries.
Okay, well, call me back and let me know.
Wayne's
I'll plan
on for
that.
DeVries.
Thanks. Okay.
Munn is on for Wayne, and
No
Janice is
problem.
on for Wilner.
Okay, that's good. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Yeah, she's right here. Hold on.
All right.
Nora.
Hey, Nora.
They're on this line. Christy,
I
can you-
knew it.
it's a
I
chew
knew.
up.
He has a bigger head. All right, so we have to do the wig. All right. Did we call half hour? No. Oh my gosh! All this in like 10 seconds.
10 minutes.
All right, double show Wednesday.
You want to wait for the bid?
So that's kind of like we're always a little crazy, like right as the witching hour comes around, which is about an hour before half hour. We try to let all the departments know who is on stage that day. In other words, if anybody's out, we have to deal with that. And front of house needs to know because we usually need to do a stuffer that'll go into the program for the audience. We have to post a board downstairs in the lobby so that the people that are coming to the show know who's in and who's out. And then, of course, we have to make phone calls to the swings or the understudies and let them know whether they're on. And then, as you just heard, this is a Wednesday, and on Wednesday, our crew does a work call every Wednesday from 8 to 12 for maintenance of the show, you know, upkeep and that sort of thing. And today we had a particular, actually, you'll see it because we're going to do it. We had a particular prop, one of the beds, was overshooting its mark last week, and so they adjusted it so that we could get through the weekend, and then they've just now done something that's a more permanent solution. So what we want to do is make sure the actors use that before the show today. So we're doing that at around 1:40. So in about 20 minutes or so we'll call those actors to stage and we'll do a little rehearsal. So that'll all be good. In the meantime, I'm probably going to go around and give notes, but they're doing what we always do. They're cutting up. This is what we send around to all the departments. Is an in-out sheet. What we do is we type it up, and this says who's in and who's out, if we have any rehearsals, which we do, and then this is a specialty because we've got one of our actors is moving into a track that he doesn't normally do. And so we have a certain way to break that down. Then what we do is we type that up, print it, and then it goes to all the departments, and it goes around the building for informational purposes.
Yep.
So that people know what they're doing.
We'll take it out and do long track.
Okay, and in the meantime, he's prepping the report for today because we do a report. We do a report after every show, which allows like the producers, general managers, all the creative team, everybody gets a little inside view on what the show was like that day, and we're responsible for making sure, like, we keep time. That's something that probably people don't know, is that we time every show. And what we do is we do that, especially on a musical, it's important because it affects the length of the show, tempos, who's conducting, who's performing. All of those are variables, and we always try to keep our show within the same amount of time. And we can always tell if something's going askew if the timings are different. So that's something that we do daily. And this is the report. You'll see Jason bringing it up on the screen right now. And it's like a daily diary, if you will. You know, it's a diary of the show. It tells us, you know, what day, what performance number we are. Where are we on performance?
2496.
So this is the 2,496 performance. And in this report, what this also does is it gives us times, it gives us temperatures, which I know people were probably like, well, what do you need temperatures for? We do temperature and humidity because it affects, we have a lot of smoke cues and a lot of dry ice, a lot of Roscoe fluid, a lot of these things that like make an ambiance and, you know, sort of like make the show look the way the lighting designer wants it to look. And sometimes, depending on humidity, temperature on the stage, and temperature in the house, it can really affect where that smoke goes. Sometimes, what we've discovered is if we keep it 3 degrees cooler in the house than on the stage, we get a nice balance on stage. And sometimes, if we don't have that quality, we lose, all the smoke will like dissipate quickly during the show, or it'll all go into the basement. It's a very interesting way, like the air current moves and all this stuff. I mean, I came in here and I said I never knew that I was going to end up being an engineer of a building and understanding so much about air current, but that's the way, air currents, that's the way I feel. Anyway, that's on there. And then we also do an in and out. In other words, this actor's out, this one's on vacation, somebody's on, and that also lets everybody know what's happening with the show, but it also affects payroll because this company manager then looks at that report and knows who's in and out and who to pay for that week and who not to pay, that sort of thing. So that's on there. We log all rehearsals. We log if it's someone's first performance, if it's their final performance. It's logged on this report whether somebody is late, which our company is very good about not being. They're a very good company. And we also log technical notes, performance notes, that sort of thing. So it's like a little diary that we daily do after every show. And as I said, it gets sent to everybody who's involved, from the that's not in the building, if you will. What we do is we print our own stuffers. A stuffer is what goes into the program to tell the actors, or to tell the audience who's in, who's out, and what's going on. So Christy is right now printing a stuffer, and this particular one, what we're doing is we're doing a double-sided stuffer because these next few weeks we're doing Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS fundraising. And we are doing a raffle, and that information is listed on the back of the stuffer. And so, so this will go into people's programs. She's printing these, and then tonight, whoever we have who's ever in or out will be printed on the back side of this. So what we're trying to do is, you know, do it as efficiently as possible. And I think everybody's aware of the fact that Wicked is like a green show, and what that means in terms of our, as far as the stage managers goes, we try as hard as we can to use minimally the amount of paper that we need to. We try really to use every paper over again. And we encourage all the departments to do that.
I drive these guys crazy because I go and pull paper out of the garbage and put it in the recycling bin.
And it's not that it drives me crazy. I always feel so bad, like and I go, oh my God, I didn't recycle. Do you know what I mean? But it's good. It's a good reminder, and and we seem to be getting better. I mean, I think we're getting better. We are. We're getting better. Right there, I just had another nightmare stage manager phone call. Somebody's stuck on a train out in Brooklyn, and it is what time? It's 1:13, half hour is in 17 minutes. So when this person gets off the train, they'll call. And what I just said, we have no lateness problem here. But you know what? Sometimes mass transportation will cause problems. So hopefully this actor will get here in time, and we won't have to deal with it. But if they're too late and they can't make the show, then we're going to have to move into putting a swing on.